Welcome. In this video, we want to talk about customer take-on balances. And for you to do take-on balances in Sage Pastel Partner, the first thing that you have to do is to create what we term take-on suspense accounts. And they are creating these ones for customers, suppliers, and inventory items. So this is the first step that you have to do. And for you to do that, you come to Edit, then you come to General Ledger, then you click on Accounts. Right, when you click on Accounts, the system will load up this window, which allows you to create General Ledger accounts. Right, so on this window, we are creating these suspense accounts as sub accounts of a main account. Right, so for us to create those accounts, we click on Add. Right, when you click on Add, the main account number that we are putting for us to create the sub accounts is 9990, right, which is opening balance / suspense account. Then we start putting in our sub account. So we could start with the customer take on. So we do customer take on, right? It's the first one. Then we save. So this is the first that we've created. After saving it, we then go on and create the second one. So again, we're putting in the same main account number, then you are putting in the sub account, then we're putting in supplier take on, right? So we put in that supplier take on. Okay, so this is the second one. Then after this, we then go on and put third one, which is inventory take on. So once it is saved, again we put in the main account, this main account, then we put in the third one, which is inventory take on, right? Then we save. So this is the first step that you do. You have to do this as a first step, right? After this, you just close this window. Then now you'll be having a question on with a general with a trial balance which has got figures. So on that statement, you have to capture it. That statement, you have to capture it, and for you to do that, you have to click on process journals. Right, so when you click on process journals, it will open this window. You now have to click on general journal, right? So when you click on general journal, it will bring up this general journal. So let's say you've got a list of accounts. Could we have a list of accounts? Probably let me put up something here in my Excel. So we just put in something which is a bit small, so that you appreciate how to do this. So allow it to load. Allow the Excel to load. All right. So let's say we've got something here. This is debit. This is credit. Then probably we could just put our accounts here. Let's say retained income. Alright, let's say it's got a balance of 500. Then you've got motor vehicles. Let's say motor vehicles at cost. This one, let's give it 5,000. Let's say motor vehicles at cost is at 2,000. Let's say we've got motor vehicles accumulated depreciation. All right, which has got 1,000. All right. Let's say you have now you've got accounts payable. So you've got accounts payable, which has got 1,500. Right, then you've got accounts receivable, which has got 2,500. Then we have got inventory, right, which has got let's say 1,800. Okay, so all right, let's take this example as our balance sheet, as our trial balance. So let's put credit there in caps. So this trial balance has to be balanced, so let's just add the two sides so that we see if these two sides add up. So we've got 6,300 there. Then what do we have there? 7,500. So what is the difference? 700. So 1.2. So we're going to make this 3,000, but it's balanced. So let's say this is our trial balance. In your case, you'll be having a bigger trial balance. So after creating your sub accounts like what you did, you have to capture this. So you bring up your Pastel, and as I said, we are using the general journal. So you select your period, you select your date. I'm just using the default sheet there. Then you continue, you select your account. Like in this case, my first account is retained income, right? Okay, so I have to select the description. So it's retained income or accumulated loss. So I selected that. Then we said this account, so I could put reference there. Reference, I could just put something like this. Then I continue, I type opening balance, right? Then this one is got 5,000, so I'm putting in 5,000. Then I continue to the next line. I look up, I'm just going to look up what is the next account. So the next account is motor vehicles at cost. So I continue, I look for motor vehicles at cost. So I load up that. Then it has got a debit balance of 2,000. Then I continue to the next line. Then I look up again, I see what is the next account. It's motor vehicles accumulated depreciation, right? So I've got motor vehicles accumulated depreciation. It has got a what? It has got a credit balance of how much? Of 1,000. So I input that. Then I continue again to the next line. I look up which is the next account which I have. The next account which I have is accounts payable. Now on accounts payable, instead of looking up for an accounts payable account, I'm going to pick the suspense account that we created, which is supplier Takeon. So I proceed, I come here, then I type supplier Takeon. So supplier Takeon is taking the place of accounts payable. And I look up how much is against that account is 1,500. So I input 1,500. Then I continue. Then the next account which I have after that is I've got accounts receivable, which has got 2,500. So again, accounts receivable is replaced for now by customer Takeon. So I put in customer Takeon. Then it has got 2,500. I continue to the next line. Then I've got inventory, and again inventory is for now its place is being taken by inventory Takeon. So I look up for inventory Takeon, which is this account. Then I continue. How much does it have? It has got 3,000. So once I have done that, you'd find my journal will be in balance. What I've done is I've just picked what is on this trial balance, and an account which has got a credit balance, I just put it here on Pastel in the credit column. The one which has got a debit balance, I put it in the debit column. And take note, for accounts payable, for now this place has been taken by supplier Takeon, right? For you see supplier Takeon. For accounts receivable, its place for now has been taken by customer Takeon. Then for inventory, its place again for now has been taken by inventory Takeon. So this is the second step. After creating the suspense account, you come here, you capture your trial balance just as I have done here, and after that you click on update. update this journal page. Then it may bring up this. You may want to do a backup before updating, or you may want to print the page, but we're not going to do that, so we just click on update. Now after you have updated, you'd find your trial balance as well as your balance sheet have been updated. If you want to check, you just come here, then you click on general ledger, financial reports, trial balance. Right, fine. If you are to see your trial balance as at that date, we may just remove print 0 items, remove the tick there, then you click on OK. So when you do that, you'd find your trial balance is up there, just as we have it here on Excel. Right, so basically we're saying this is your second step. Then after this, now you have to as you remember, the accounts payable, we replaced it. This place was taken by supplier Takeon. Then the accounts receivable, this place was taken by customer Takeon. Then the inventory, this place was taken by inventory Takeon. So let's say we have a breakdown of this. For accounts payable, let's say this relates to customer Makonde resources. For supplier Makonde resources, let's say this is the supplier who has the amount. So let's say this transaction for this supplier was done on, let's say it was done on 2 January 2023. So it was done on invoice, let's say it was done on invoice 152, right? 1452, right? So basically, let's say the amount was 1,500. So this is a supplier. Let's just put supplier there. So basically, let's say this is a supplier. Then let's say we've got the customer, the breakdown of the customer account, which is the account receivable. Let's say we've got coal mining, right, as the supplier there. Then let's say this transaction for the supplier was done on 5 January 2023, and it was done on, right, on this invoice number, right. Then the amount is 2,500. Then on the inventory, let's have a breakdown of the inventory items. Inventory, so let's have the inventory there. So on inventory, we've got code, then we've got description. So this is the list of inventory items, description. Then we've got cost price, then we've got selling price. And we should also have quantity there. All right, we should also have quantity. We should also have, so let's have, let's put it there. You should also have quantity, right? So let's say these are core payables, right? So good. Right now here we are putting in the code. So we've got CP001. Let me type this in caps, CP001. So let's say this is core payables, right? And then for a tonnage, these are in tons of 100 tons. Probably let's say the cost is 250 per ton, and the selling is 530. So basically, we're saying we have captured in our trial balance, which is the second step, and we now have to continue. And for us to continue now, we have got this breakdown. As I said, these accounts, their places were initially taken by the Takeon accounts that we created. We now have to allocate, starting with the supplier. So we've got Makonde resources. So first of all, we have to create this supplier on our system. And for us to do that, we are going to edit, then suppliers, then accounts, right? So when you click on edit suppliers accounts, it will bring up this so that we create our first supplier. So this is our code. Then the supplier that we are to create is Maconte Resources, right? Then here we can put in the addresses and everything, but for now we're just leaving this blank. You could put in the postal address, physical address, and the other contact details there. Then let's save this. Now we're saying okay, we've created the supplier. We may as well just create all the necessary items before we go back, right, to processing. So we could continue and create the customer account by going via edit, customers, then accounts, right? The customer that we have is coal mining, so we're creating that supplier, and we're saying this is our supplier at coal mining, right? If we would want, we could put all the other details down there, right? But for now we're just leaving blank. Then we save. Right, we could create the last item that we have to create, which is the inventory, before we go on to processing. So we could just come back here and we say edit, then now we go inventory item, inventory, then we go item file. Right, so we now want to create the inventory item, which is that item. So we've got that code, which is CP01001. So we're putting in the code CP001. And the description is core cables, right? And it has got a unit cost of 250. So we're putting in last unit. Then we come here on pricing. It has got a selling price of 530. So we're putting in that. Once we have done that, we then click on save, right? Then we're done. We're done there. We are done. We close that. We close that. Then now that we have created these items, we have to come back to Pastel and capture, right? So we're now to process, starting with the supply. So for us to now allocate, because as I said, we had accounts payable replaced by supply Takeon. So we now want to allocate this so that it goes to accounts payable account. So these are the details that we have on this figure, which is here. The explanation of the breakdown is this supplier Maconde Resources, and the transaction was done on 2 January 2023 on this invoice number. So we come back here and we click on process, then we say journals, right? When we click on journals, we now have to click on this plus sign, which is against the supplier. Then when we click on the plus sign, it does expand this. Then we click on supply journal, right? So when we click on supply journal and find our supply journal is loaded up, then we select the period. Then we come here to date. The date was 2. Then the account, we just look up for the account. It may bring up this the new enhanced search feature for suppliers. If you want to use it, you could just say yes. If you don't want, you could just say no. Then it brings up this window with the list of 4 suppliers. For us, we just have got 1 supplier, so we're just selecting that supplier. Then the reference is the invoice number. As you can see here, is the invoice number, which is here, right? Invoice 1452. Then the amount is 1.5. So we're putting in invoice 1452. Then the narration there is what? It's opening balance. So basically this is the opening balance. Text, you're not putting in text there. Then you put in 1500, right? Then here is DC, D for debit, C for credit. What we have to do, what we are doing here, we're crediting the supplier. Then we continue on project, nothing. Then we come here on the contra. On the contra now, we're picking the supplier Takeon account. So we look up for the supplier Takeon account, which is this account. This is our contra account. Once we have done, once we are complete, if we had a number of suppliers, we're just going to feed them up here, all of them. Then after that, we come here, we click on update this journal page, then update. So basically, this is what we do. Then we we are done with the supply. We look up again on our Excel to find what we have. We have now the customer, core mining. Again, we have to do the same, because as you remember, the accounts receivable was replaced by the customer take on, right? So we have to reallocate that. So how do we do it? We come back to our Pastel. Okay, just a moment as I bring up Pastel. And now we have to change this entry type to, so we are looking for customer journal. So we click this plus sign against customer, then we double click on customer journals. So when customer journals load up, we select our period, we put in our date. So we can just look up our date here. Our date is 5 January. So you are putting in 5 January, then we look up for the customer. It may bring up this. If you want enhanced search, you say yes. If you don't want, like in my case, I'll just say no. Then it will bring up, I've got just one customer. If we had many, the list was going to be in there. So we're selecting that one customer, enter. Then our reference is the invoice number on which this transaction was done, which is CMT 852. So we've got CMT 852, right? Then the description is opening balance. So we're putting in that opening balance, right? Then of course on text we're not putting anything. Then you are putting in 2.5, right? Then the contra now is the customer take on. So we've got the customer take on. That is the contra account, customer take on. So we are putting in that. Then once we are done, we come here, click on update this journal page. All right. Then we click on update. So basically that's how you do it. In your case, you'll be having a number of customers. In my case, I'm just taking one customer so that we use this to demonstrate. So after having done that, you can close this. We are now left with this inventory item, which we created, core payables, and we have for that cost and that selling and this quantity. So we have to input this quantity. And for us to do that, we come to process, then you come to inventory journals, right? Then when you click on inventory journals, it will load up this inventory journal showing the period January. Then here we have to select the inventory code. It may again ask you to use enhanced search, which you are not going to use. So just click no. Then it will bring up, if you had a number of inventory items, they were going to be listed here. But because we just have got one which we created, it's just showing that one. So we click on it, then we click enter. Now it has entered, and we look at the date on which we are doing this. If it is 5 January, we could just put 5 there. Then on the reference, we could just say open balance, so to say. Then on quantity, we have got 100. Then everything else is picked. Then on G account, we are picking in the inventory take on. Remember the inventory take on that we created. So we're picking in that the inventory take on. So we pick the inventory take on, then we enter, then we proceed. Now, once we have done that, we update this page. Right. So by so doing, we have done our opening balance, and we have allocated the figures correctly. So if you were to come back and view your reports, because on your reports, that's when you know if you've done it correctly. If you were to come here and click on view, then you click on general ledger, then you click on financial reports, then you click on trial balance, you'd find when you say okay here, you're going to see now that initially we had our figures in the suspense, but now our figures have been moved to inventory control, customer control, supplier control, right? So basically that's how we do it. So even if you were to view your customer accounts, let's say probably we just want to view here and see the general ledger by customer. I hope you saw what I did. What I did there was for me to view customer reports, I went via view customers, then detailed ledger, then by customer. I just have got one customer, so I'm just going to select like that, then click on OK. You'd find the customer now has got the opening balance. The same goes for the supplier. If I were to look at the supplier, so I'm again going via view, suppliers, then detailed ledger, then by supplier. Right, you'd find again, if when I click OK, the supplier now has got the balance, which is on the credit side. So basically that's how you do your take on balances, and I hope this video helps. If you've got any questions, you can still ask me. You can WhatsApp, then we try to help each other. Thank you.